So excuse the road noise and smoke, but this is what we have to do to get started on this project. This is an old piece of truck leaf spring we're going to need to anneal, and we start by getting it hot and then cooling it down slowly. I'm going to just leave it in a bucket of wood ash and let it cool overnight, and then it should be soft enough to machine. You know, I suppose while we're out here waiting for that to heat up, I can give you a quick tour of the blacksmithing area. That's my big Fisher anvil. I want to say it's about 200 or 220 pounds, cast in 1891. That's my little, it's a Colombian 4.5-inch post vise. And that's my big Fisher swedge block. I don't really use it that much, but it's nice to have. This is a bending fork for bending parts. And this is a big part of the scrap pile now. It's getting cleaned up out here as we go. I really haven't been able to assimilate all my coal yet. This showed up. Got some nice big chunks that'll need to get broken up. This is more kind of the less profitable, more loss leader side of the shop, because this gets people to come in and check it out and then get more profitable services done. You know, it's just also nice to get a break from high precision work out here. Kind of just smack things with a hammer. So here we are, parts hot after a frustratingly long time. It's heavy. And just gonna stick it in some wood ash and leave it. I've got another part we're gonna get hot because this is for another project. But I don't want to spoil that one for you. I skipped dropping these in the bucket, but I have the steel pickling in some acid. This is just citric acid and a little wood ash mixed in. This is to peel all the scale and rust off so it's not going on the machines and trashing my cutters. It's not an appealing process and smells pretty horrible, actually. I think that's the ash from the coal actually having some sulfur in it reacting with everything. But it'll peel all the rust off. Just got to put the top back on and accept it and hopefully pull these out at the end of today, and they'll be ready to cut up. So we're back on the machine now. Now this is a piece of truck leaf spring that needs to be squared up. I can't recall actually what this was off of, but it is roughly 950 thousandths thick. So I think what we're gonna do is probably make a 3/4 by 1 by 2 pair of blocks. Now this just happens to be a good size for certain funny setups. Maybe, maybe not. They're also good to just hold parts off the table for drilling. And it's also kind of a demonstration exercise. I'm really doing this project for fun. I don't actually need these. And I don't want to use expensive materials, especially when they can't really be reused at the end of this. But this is also, I think, the first real use of my flood oiling system. Just based on the amount of mess it produces, I think this might live on the drill press instead of the mill. It really shined when I was doing some test drilling with it. The downside is you really have to peck so nothing is flung, and oil really does fling pretty far. Now, it does a fantastic job cutting. I really can't say how thrilled I am with the surface finish and reduced cutting effort, but I need to make a bigger drain line so the table drains more effectively. It's pretty difficult to keep everything clean, so I think this setup here might be dedicated for milling tool steel and other really difficult materials, because frankly, I just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze in other applications. If you haven't seen it, I do have my dedicated video on just making the system and talking about how it works, but it's really just made out of an old pressure washer, or a parts washer. And you can see, I mean, it really does deliver a lot of oil to the cutter. And I'm kind of just feeling my way through here. The mill was kind of dull on the end, so what I wound up doing is side milling instead of kind of using the end of the end mill. I've always had better luck with shallower depth of cuts on this machine instead of side milling hard materials, just because that's just the way it is. And you can see I'm really fussing with where I want to put the coolant because I just can't quite get it where I want without flinging it all over the back of the machine. And my shop looks like the Exxon Valdez now. So this is just part one of squaring it. In part two, we're going to finish squaring it. I will explain how that works. And I think we're going to talk a little bit about the use of a slitting saw, because this will require using a slitting saw to make it two pieces. And I might be able to squeeze 3 out of this. I'm going to have to do some measuring, and that might happen on camera. It might happen off camera. It's all up in the air. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this content and are interested in finishing this project with me. Thanks for watching, guys.